Coming up on today's episode of Whether or Not, we have Marissa here in the studio to bring you your latest forecast and telling you whether or not you'll need a coat this weekend. Also, Brian is here with a feature on weather and how it affects the baseball season. Also, nature in the news stories, including a boiling river and smog in Mexico City. All that and much more, so sit back, relax, because Whether or Not starts right now. Welcome to today's edition of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Michael Priante.
And I'm your forecaster, Marissa Lautenbacher.
Well, Marissa, let's talk about the cold because earlier this week we had temperatures well below average. I saw temperatures in the teens in the morning. It was really cold waking up in State College.
Yes, I actually took my jacket back and I wish I hadn't. But we did have a slight warm up in the week and then we also had rain on Thursday.
All right. Well, I hear that this weekend is going to be even colder with some snow in the forecast. Any truth to that?
Well, it will still continue to be cold, and we actually might see some mixed precipitation during this weekend, but I will have the details on that coming up in my forecast.
All right, Marissa. Well, we'll check back in with you later in the show. Right now, here are some nature in the news stories.
Some people may think that we have discovered all that there is on our planet, but that is far from the case regarding the Amazon rainforest. The rainforest has been captivating scientists and explorers alike with the mysterious boiling river. Scientist and National Geographic explorer Andres Russo set out to study this mythical river after hearing about it from childhood legends. The foretold river is located in Peru and was first discovered by the Spaniards who conquered the area in the mid-1500s. The river has never been scientifically studied before and was assessed for its geothermal potential. The water averages a temperature of more than 186 degrees Fahrenheit and stretches 4 miles within the jungle. The locals call the river Shinay Tempishka, which means boiled with the heat of the sun. Initially, it was thought that the river was located near an area of volcanic activity, but over 400 miles away from the nearest volcano, which is not the case. Russo is still studying the anomaly of the boiling river and has yet to come up with an explanation for this unique ecosystem.
A cold blob out in the Atlantic Ocean could put a spin to the upcoming hurricane season. This blob that I'm referring to is a very large area in the northern Atlantic that has colder than normal sea surface temperatures. This anomalous cold spot has been around for the past couple of years and has persistently been over that specific portion of the Atlantic Ocean. It is also an interesting anomaly as it's remained consistently cooler than average, while most of the globe has continued to remain above average in terms of temperature. Despite this weird occurrence, it is not known whether or not this will have a significant consequence. But if the ocean currents do pull down the waters into the warmer waters of the Caribbean Ocean, it could disrupt and impact the formation of potential tropical storms and hurricanes.
It's been a rough start for fruit blossoms during the start of this April, as waves of colder temperatures have been taking its toll on the Northeast. The combination of a mild winter and above average March and along with the latest cold snap may have caused damage on fruit crops. The owner of Way Fruit Farm in Stormstown explains that the amount of damage facing orchards will vary from orchard to orchard and from tree to tree. The more delicate of the fruits, such as apricots and plums, have suffered the most in our area. Another local farm, Harner Farms in State College, said that they expect significant losses. They reported that almost 90 to 100% of peaches and plums, which were at full bloom, will not make it to harvest time. Fruit trees in the blossom stage are the most susceptible to damage when the temperatures are only in the mid-20s. Any brief short warm-up could actually do more harm than good for the fruit in the area. The warm temperatures before the start of spring is what helped the buds bloom early in the first place.
Well, after a long stretch of smog hampering conditions over Mexico City throughout the month of March, many city officials are taking action to combat the dangerous conditions. The Environmental Commission of the Megalopolis of Mexico City announced that a new program will be instated to reduce the environmental consequences. This initiative, called One Day Without a Car, is in effect from April 5th through the 30th of June, and it will ban the usage of any pedestrian cars for 1 day every week. The geography of Mexico City is partly to blame for the increased smog, as mountains surround the city, which act as a natural barrier and prevent the smog from clearing. This provision will hope to reduce gas emissions within the city and prevent future smog epidemics for the near future.
Hello, I'm student meteorologist Marissa Lautenbacher here with your Central Pennsylvania forecast for this weekend. So we're looking at Friday as we will have this cold front, leading edge of the cold front moving on through, as we do have some warmer air, not quite warm, but still we will have some mixed precipitation, a possibility of it on Friday. But moving on into Saturday as the cold front and the low pressure system start to move out of the area, we could still be left with a couple of flakes on Saturday. Temperatures should be fairly chilly, not quite as chilly, but still not above average yet, which should be in the mid-50s range and even to the upper 50s on Sunday. But the skies should be clearing out as we do have a high pressure system that'll be moving on up into our area on Sunday. So we're looking at Friday. We will have that possibility of that snow and rain, as I have just mentioned, and our temperatures should be in 43-degree range. That'll be changing over mostly towards snow, as we will have temperatures at 27. Saturday should be the coldest day, as we will have temperatures that are fairly chilly at 36 degrees, the coldest day of the week. And we will have snow showers early in the day, but changing over into the evening hours, we will have cloudy skies, and our temperatures still 20 degrees. Even looking at Sunday, sunshine is back in 41 degrees. Now here's Brian with a feature on baseball and weather.
Winter is over and spring is here, which means once again, after the long off season, it is time once again for America's pastime. Major League Baseball had their opening day this week, and of all the sports in North America, baseball is the one most impacted by the weather. All 30 Major League Baseball teams play 162 regular season games. With this many games and the vast majority of them being played outdoors, it is no coincidence that weather impacts baseball more so than any other sport. Weather's impact on baseball is not just limited to inclement weather causing delays and cancellations. It also has a major impact on the day-to-day operations of a ballpark. We're joined by the head sports turf manager for the State College Spikes and Penn State Baseball over at Medler Field at Lebrano Park to share just how much weather impacts his day-to-day operations.
Constantly. Everything we do is based around the weather. I mean, whether it's obviously the games, trying to get those started on time, but also our fertilization schedules are based upon the weather. Typically we like to try to get that fertilizer rained into the ground, so we try to time it around a rainfall.
While the day-to-day operations are important, it is delays and cancellations that are noticed by fans and garner media attention. Major League Baseball does not handle weather situations particularly well, despite the massive impact weather can have on a baseball game. Once the game begins, the decision to delay is solely in the hands of the umpires. Now, the umpires are too involved with the game itself to be able to look at any sort of radar or any other weather information and are not able to make an informed decision.
If we feel like we do need to have a delay in the game, then it's kind of a group effort on that part. They'll ask me what I think weather-wise, how's the field conditions. They'll determine some other factors. And then once the game begins, once the lineup cards are exchanged, it's totally on the umpires.
This flawed system has led to many instances of umpires waiting too long to delay games, putting fans, players, and grounds crew members in danger, such as this instance from last season in Pittsburgh, As the grounds crew was putting the tarp onto the field, heavy winds picked it up and engulfed a member of the grounds crew.
It seems like they've waited a little too long in certain points to get the tarp onto the field. And it partly it's our fault. Our fields drain so well anymore. The infields, it used to be if you got a shower on an infield, it was unplayable. These infields take so much water anymore, and the umpires know that. And I think they're willing to kind of let it ride a little longer than they used to. But now it's getting to the point where they may, in certain instances, may have waited a little too long to bring that tarp out. And that's where you see some issues with, what happened in Pittsburgh.
This has also led to multiple stadiums actually being struck by lightning while play is still going on, such as this example from Philadelphia a couple of years ago, when even after this, the umpires did not delay the game, endangering the safety of everybody in the ballpark.
Our front office staff, they're very proactive in making sure that the fans are kept safe. If there's lightning in the area, get underneath the concourse. Where it gets a little scary for us is we're the people that are out there putting the tarp on in a lightning storm, which can get a little nerve-wracking at times. But
Major League Baseball does not have a league-wide policy regarding weather, instead leaving it up to each individual team. Some teams play in a dome or a retractable roof stadium, but even these have delays when the roof is left open during inclement weather, and many people believe baseball should only be played outside and on grass. The Minnesota Twins are currently the only team to actually employ a meteorologist, which is a big step in the right direction for baseball. Whether this is the solution for all teams or having a centralized weather command center in charge of handling all weather situations for all teams works better remains to be seen. But one thing that is clear is that MLB needs to change the way it handles weather events.
Whether it's your local Little League or Major League Baseball game, weather will always have an impact on the game. Hopefully Major League Baseball can lead the charge in reforming the way that they handle severe weather events. For Weather or Not, I'm Brian Mastro.
Thank you, Brian, for that feature on baseball and weather. Now, here's looking at your weekend forecast. Not the best day to actually play baseball this weekend, but as we will have this mixed precipitation, our temperatures at 43, still a little bit chilly. You need that jacket definitely for Saturday, as we will have those chilly temperatures, and we will also have some flurries in our forecast as well. Sunday, 41, still cold, but we will have the sunshine to peek on out. And the forecast actually looks to be a little bit warmer. I know we all want that warmth, definitely for next week, as our temperatures will be coming back towards average. Our average for this time of year should be in the 50s for this time of the year. It should actually be around 58.
Well, thanks, Marissa, for that forecast. I'm not liking this weekend's forecast, but next week is looking to be a nice week as temperatures will be going up instead of down.
Yes, this weekend on Saturday will be quite chilly at 36 degrees, but our week for next week, our temperatures will be springing up back towards average.
All right, well, that's great to hear, Marissa. But right now, let's take a look back at your Weather Whiz quiz. Earlier in the show, we asked you, how much snow fell in State College on the single snowiest day in April? Was it A, 6 inches, B, 10.2 inches, C, 13.5 inches, or D, 17.3 inches? Well, if you guessed D, 17.3 inches, you are indeed correct. And that occurred on April 28th of 1928.
This is actually a significant amount of snowfall for any time of the year, but especially for this late in the season. It was also a heavy and wet snowfall as well.
Right, and it certainly was an impressive feat to see this amount of snow of this magnitude in the month of April, as the sun angle for this time of the year is equivalent to early September.
What is even more impressive is that a single snowstorm in April of 1928 dropped more snow than we've seen this entire season.
And that's right, and so far this season we have received 16.5 inches of snow here in State College. And with that snow in the forecast, we will have to see if we can hold on to the seasonal snow total, which currently has us at the least snowiest season on record. But that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Whether or Not. I am your host, Michael Priante.
And I'm your forecaster, Marissa Lautenbacher. Have a great day.